Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
So Diddy, after the Cassie lawsuit, gets hit with a bunch of lawsuits, and then ultimately the raids, and then this criminal case.
The courtroom was silent, except for the muffled sobs echoing from Sean Diddy. Combs himself, seated at the defense table with his head in his hands. The music mogul, once the untouchable king of hip-hop, was now crumbling beneath the weight of his own empire's secrets. This was no ordinary day in court. Moments earlier, prosecutors had played the now infamous jailhouse audio that allegedly exposed Diddy's shadowy orchestration of events from behind bars. Words like "get rid of the pizza boxes" and "recycle the plastic" crackled through the speakers, their cryptic nature sending chills through the packed courtroom. Onlookers whispered in hushed tones, their faces frozen in disbelief as they tried to decipher the meaning. What could these phrases be hiding? And more importantly, who else might these words pull into the tangled web of deceit?
The feds, Al Capone style, have not charged everything under the sun. They've charged 3 main charges: racketeering, trafficking, and the transport of a prostitute. And I'll tell you, I don't know about the racketeering charge. It's pretty sweeping. And I'll tell you what the general element.
The tension was palpable, and we couldn't help but wonder, was this the moment that marked the downfall of one of the most powerful figures in entertainment? The leaked audio wasn't just a snippet of casual conversation, it was a bombshell that hinted at a deeper conspiracy. The coded language sparked wild speculation. Was Diddy masterminding a plan to destroy evidence? Were these phrases part of a broader system of communication designed to evade detection? As the prosecutors paused the recording, the room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the answers that might never come. Even the judge, a man known for his stoic demeanor, seemed visibly unsettled. And then, in a voice trembling with emotion, Diddy's lawyer objected, calling the audio misleading and out of context. But the damage was already done. The narrative shifted as prosecutors turned their focus to Diddy's alleged attempts to manipulate the very fabric of the justice system. According to their explosive claims, the music mogul hadn't just been idly waiting in his cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center. No, he was reportedly using other inmates' phone privileges to make secret calls. Calls that investigators say were used to bribe witnesses. Picture this: an empire built on glitz and glamour now reduced to whispered promises of cash and fame through a prison phone line. Prosecutors laid it all out. Diddy allegedly instructed intermediaries to contact key witnesses, offering them staggering sums of money to change their testimonies or disappear altogether. The idea that someone could wield such power, even from behind bars, was both chilling and awe-inspiring, leaving us to ask, how far would Diddy go to protect himself? But the story didn't end there. Prosecutors painted a sinister picture of a man who wasn't just fighting for his freedom, he was allegedly orchestrating a master plan to bend the legal system to his will. The courtroom gasped as they revealed whispers of a network of high-profile allies, names that sent shockwaves through the audience. Jay-Z, NYC Mayor Eric Adams, and other unnamed power players. Could these figures truly be involved? The speculation alone was enough to ignite a firestorm. Prosecutors hinted at backroom deals, secret meetings, and a cloak-and-dagger operation that stretched from Hollywood to City Hall. The idea that Diddy's empire might be propped up by an intricate web of influence and corruption left us reeling.
Referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide.
And then came the rhetorical dagger. Could this network be the reason Diddy has managed to evade accountability for so long? The prosecutor asked, locking eyes with the jury. And is this leaked audio just the tip of the iceberg? The weight of those words lingered in the air, and we couldn't help but wonder, if true, how many more people might be implicated in this scandal? How far does this web extend? As if the courtroom drama wasn't enough, the media frenzy outside painted an equally chaotic picture. Protesters lined the streets, some holding signs decrying Diddy as a predator, while others rallied behind him, calling the charges a racially motivated takedown. The debate wasn't just about guilt or innocence, it was about power, race, and the double standards of the justice system. Diddy's legal team wasted no time playing that card. His lawyers argued vehemently that the charges against him were rooted in a racist law historically used to target black men. They pointed to the Mann Act, a law with an undeniably troubling past, and claimed Diddy was being unfairly singled out for conduct that they insisted was common among wealthy, high-profile individuals. The courtroom filings described the law as a weapon of systemic bias, used to punish powerful black men whose success threatened the status quo.
I want to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical description of her.
But prosecutors weren't swayed by the claims of racial animus. They countered with a damning portrayal of Diddy as a man who used his fame and fortune to manipulate and intimidate. In their eyes, this wasn't about race, it was about justice for the victims. They described a pattern of coercion and control, stories that painted Diddy as a puppet master pulling strings from the shadows. And yet, the defense's argument raised valid questions. Why was Diddy being charged under a law so rarely used? Why now, and why him? The debate raged on both inside and outside the courtroom with no clear answers in sight. Adding to the chaos were whispers of leaked evidence that tied Diddy to even more shocking allegations. According to insiders, federal investigators had uncovered financial records and communications that suggested a level of premeditation that was hard to ignore. There were claims of payments funneled through shell companies, encrypted messages sent to key players, and even rumors of surveillance footage that prosecutors had yet to reveal. The anticipation was electric. Would these alleged pieces of evidence finally unravel the truth? Or were they just another layer of smoke and mirrors in this already convoluted case?
So she testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he her, sexually assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone again.
And then there were the victims. As testimony continued, the stories of those who had allegedly suffered at Diddy's hands painted a harrowing picture. Witnesses described being coerced into situations they couldn't escape from, their lives forever scarred by the choices they felt forced to make. One woman, speaking under a pseudonym, recounted how Diddy's charm had quickly turned to control, how the life of luxury he'd promised had been a gilded cage. Her voice trembled as she described feeling powerless, trapped in a game where Diddy always held the cards. It was a story that echoed through the courtroom, leaving us to wonder how many more voices were waiting to be heard. But perhaps the most unsettling revelation came from whispers about Diddy's so-called freak-offs. These alleged marathon encounters, orchestrated with military precision, were described as anything but consensual. Prosecutors claimed that Diddy used a combination of charm, wealth, and intimidation to lure participants into these events, only to trap them in a cycle they couldn't escape. Testimony from one of his former girlfriends described how these sessions left her emotionally shattered, relying on substances just to make it through. The details were hard to stomach, but they painted a picture of a man who had built his empire on the exploitation of others.
They saw evidence in the case. They immediately honed in on racketeering and they started saying, why is this racketeering with one guy? And they're charging this one guy. They had a real problem with that. They did not have a problem with the Mann Act. They found him guilty on the Mann Act. And they hung 6-6 on racketeering.
As we sat there piecing together the fragments of this twisted puzzle, one thing became painfully clear. This was no ordinary trial. It was a clash of titans, a battle between a man who had once been untouchable and a justice system determined to bring him down. The stakes couldn't be higher, and yet, the more we learned, the more questions we had. What else was Diddy hiding? How many more secrets were buried beneath the surface? And most importantly, who else might be pulled into the crossfire as this case continued to unfold?
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, how you doing? I'm kind of like, wow, this is what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, if you need anything at all, you let me know.
And just when we thought things couldn't get any darker, rumors of a hidden financial empire began to surface. An empire allegedly built on secret offshore accounts and shadowy transactions. According to insiders, federal agents are quietly combing through a maze of international banking trails, claiming Diddy has funneled millions, possibly hundreds of millions, into havens far beyond the reach of the US government. These accounts, they say, could hold the key to understanding how Diddy has managed to bankroll bribes, fund his legal defense, and maintain control over his sprawling network of allies. Imagine it, a treasure trove of hidden wealth, fueling corruption, and maybe even paying for silence. But the financial allegations don't stop with offshore accounts. New reports suggest that Diddy may have used shell companies to hide assets not only internationally, but also within the US. Investigators are said to be looking into luxury properties, private jets, and even high-value art pieces that could have been purchased under false corporate identities. The extent of this alleged financial web is staggering, with sources claiming that at least 5 separate companies, each linked to Diddy's business empire, have been flagged for suspicious activity. Some wonder if these shell companies were used to launder money for more than just personal gain. Could these funds have been funneled towards silencing witnesses or covering up other scandals?
That he has with others, and just because no one else has been charged, which normally in a RICO case you would have others charged. It was a statute that designed to get mob bosses, trying to get at criminal behavior that's like a web of criminal behavior that you can't necessarily prove, like the one thing or the statute of limitations expired on the other thing, but you're just showing this bad guy who's operating what's clearly an enterprise that over and over engages in criminal problems.
Adding to the intrigue, we've heard whispers of a secret vault allegedly kept at one of Diddy's properties in the Hamptons. This vault, described by insiders as impenetrable, is believed to contain not just cash but sensitive documents and potentially even recordings that could prove damaging to both Diddy and others in his orbit. Federal agents have reportedly been pushing for a search warrant, but the process has been slow due to the high-profile nature of the case. If this vault is discovered and its contents revealed, it could turn the trial on its head. What kind of evidence might be hiding in plain sight, locked away in a fortress of secrecy? Meanwhile, rumors have emerged about the involvement of private security firms allegedly hired by Diddy to protect key assets and people tied to the case. These firms, known for their discretion and high-tech surveillance capabilities, are said to have been monitoring potential whistleblowers and even journalists. If true, this would suggest a level of paranoia within Diddy's camp, as if he knew the walls were closing in long before the trial began. Some say this is just another example of how far Diddy has gone to protect himself, while others see it as proof of guilt. The question remains, how far would someone go to keep their secrets safe?
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening.
The case has also sparked renewed interest in Diddy's past controversies, including unresolved allegations from former employees and business associates. Some of these individuals have reportedly come forward to federal investigators, claiming they were coerced into signing non-disclosure agreements to keep quiet about abusive behavior and illegal activities. These NDAs are now being scrutinized as potential evidence of a larger pattern of cover-ups. If investigators can prove that Diddy deliberately used these contracts to silence victims, it could open the door to even more legal trouble for the embattled mogul. And then there's the question of timing. Many are speculating about why the federal government has chosen now to pursue Diddy so aggressively. Could it be connected to his ongoing feuds with other industry giants? Some point to his rocky history with former collaborators and rivals, suggesting that powerful figures in Hollywood and the music world may have quietly encouraged the investigation. Others believe the timing is no coincidence, coming just as Diddy was rumored to be working on a tell-all project that could have exposed the darker side of the entertainment industry. If that project exists, it may never see the light of day now, leaving us to wonder what secrets it might have revealed.
It was like, wow, for Diddy? What? You know, that was a person that I looked up to, was a mogul. So, and I listened to all the artists that he made superstars. And so to have a chance to be able to be signed to him, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, I'm here. I finally did it.
The leaked audio, already the centerpiece of this trial, has taken on a new, sinister significance in light of these allegations. Could phrases like, "get rid of the pizza boxes and recycle the plastic" be coded instructions tied to financial laundering? Some speculate that pizza boxes might refer to bundles of cash being smuggled out of the country, while plastic could hint at credit card fraud or fake identities. If true, this would represent a chilling level of sophistication. Proof that Diddy wasn't just a man fighting to protect his legacy, but someone orchestrating a global game of cat and mouse with federal investigators. We can't help but wonder, if these accounts exist, who else might be benefiting from this hidden stash? And what happens when these secrets finally come to light? But money isn't the only thing lurking in the shadows. Whispers of yet another bombshell are spreading fast, this time involving unreleased footage tied to Diddy's infamous freak-offs. Federal agents are said to have uncovered tapes that could implicate not only Diddy, but a roster of Hollywood elites in these scandalous events. The footage, reportedly seized during raids on multiple properties, is being described as career-ending for some of the biggest names in the industry. And here's where things get even more explosive. There are rumors that Diddy himself might be considering using this footage as leverage. Imagine the pressure. A man backed into a corner, sitting on a ticking time bomb that could destroy not just his life, but potentially the careers of other A-listers.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak off, I'm going to release one of the freak off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate you."
Speculation is swirling about who could appear in these tapes. Are we talking about actors, musicians, or even politicians? The idea that Diddy might take others down with him has turned this case into a high-stakes chess game, with every move scrutinized by the public and the press. If these tapes are real, they could expose a side of fame and power that most of us could never imagine. A dark underbelly where influence and exploitation collide. The question we can't stop asking is, what will happen if these tapes are released? Will they finally shatter the illusion of untouchable celebrity status? Or will they be buried forever, another secret swept under the rug to protect the powerful?
I'm sorry, I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck. During those years, you're still stuck 21 years later.
As the courtroom drama continues to unfold, Diddy's emotional breakdown has left us all wondering just how much more pressure he can take. His tears, once seen as a sign of remorse or vulnerability, now seem to tell a different story. Could it be the weight of his own secrets crashing down on him? Or is it the realization that the empire he built is crumbling faster than he ever imagined? Every day brings new revelations, new allegations, and new twists in a case that feels like it could explode at any moment. We're left with more questions than answers. Is this truly the end of Diddy's reign, or is this scandal just the beginning of something far bigger? Something that could shake the foundations of Hollywood, politics, and power itself. And that's where we leave you for now. But trust us, this story is far from over. As more shocking details emerge, and as the walls continue to close in on one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, there's no telling what revelations could come next. What do you think? Could these offshore accounts and secret tapes destroy Diddy for good? Or is this just another chapter in a much larger story of corruption and deceit? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We're dying to hear what you think. Until next time, stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, in the world of fame and fortune, nothing is ever as it seems.